Hey everybody, coming to you from an undisclosed location better known as my office. It is a lovely Sunday afternoon. I hope everyone is doing well, and I wanted to talk to you today about something I haven't had a chance to speak much about in my YouTube shorts, and that has to do with what way in which you write. Specifically, mechanically, how do you get your words down? Do you, as a lot of people that I know do, use a laptop? That's my preferred method, by the way. Do you use a desktop keyboard? I know a lot of people who are hardcore into using their iPads, right? And the iPad keyboards with a little flat screen protector that also doubles as a keyboard. I know some people who are pretty big into typewriters. They actually collect typewriters, mechanical and electric, and they write mostly on those. And I know some people who are all about the handwriting. They're all about the long form, using journals and stuff like that to actually get at least their first draft of their novel or short story or whatever it is they're working on down. So how do we sort of figure out which one of these is going to work for you? I think the answer has to come with something that sort of changed my mindset a little bit about this, and that has to do with when you choose to do what sorts of writing. So I, as I say, tend to use my laptop keyboard, and I write with my laptop quite a bit. Why? Because, first of all, I find that I type much faster than I write longhand. Secondly, my handwriting is kind of meh. And thirdly, since I'm going to have to eventually get this typed in anyway before I submit it somewhere, I feel like I'm saving a step. And I can make corrections and changes right at the time. I can say I need to go back, erase this last few words, move this sentence around and stuff like that. A lot harder to do that when you're erasing and rewriting into some kind of long form paper style. However, I have started to think a little bit differently about this subject because of what has happened during the course of my academic semester. Because I have moved most of the work that I used to have done that was outside of class is now being moved inside class, basically to mitigate the effects of Gen AI, about which I have another YouTube short video, by the way. And so everything now is being done in class. And the reason that's important is it means that I'm getting a lot of handwritten responses from my students about particular aspects of the reading they did and so on. They do it 10, 15 minutes at the time in front of me. And I, in turn, because these are graded, then write a few sentences, write a few things down, and hand them back to them in that context. The thing that I want to point out that's so important about this is that it's reminded me that you do think differently when you are writing longhand than when you are typing. It's accessing different parts of your brain. There are different things that you're considering when you do one as opposed to when you do the other. And so I want to encourage you to think a little bit about that as well. The fact that writing when you're doing long form stuff may work better for you in laptop or desktop typing, but there are times when long form writing, little sentences here and there, can really help trigger some thoughts you wouldn't have if you were just typing. And that, I think, is a pretty interesting approach. That's all for me. Have a good week. I'll talk to you soon.